Ask and you shall receive, M. Excuse the horrific angle, but I have babies asleep literally all around. So, can't move, but let's get into it. Starting strong with the first, Remy. Look who came to join. Hi, Miss Willow. Well, that's just precious, you guys. Anyway, I adopted Remy in March of 2020. Her gotcha anniversary just passed. If you haven't seen the video, it explains a lot of her story, but the summary is she was sad and going through stuff. I was sad and going through stuff. So we were sad and going through stuff together. Next would have been Finn, and actually Finn's twin sister, Fiona. I started fostering them when they were 4 weeks old, and I got them in, I want to say July. Yes, it was July of 2020. So same year that I adopted Remy. Remy and Finn fell in love with each other. So naturally, Finn had to stay, but Finn and his sister actually had some littermate syndrome going on, and they were getting pretty aggressive with each other. So one of my very good friends adopted Finn's sister, Fiona, and she goes by Olive now, and I still get to see Olive. I think Finn officially became mine and Olive officially became Tori's in like September of 2020, and between then and May of 2022, there were no new acquisitions. In that exact amount of time, I did complete a master's degree, so I wasn't doing nothing. Next, in May of 2022, was meeting Chicken Cooper out in the chicken coop, followed very closely behind by Roof, who just walked in the room. Hey, Roof Man. Oh, hi, Roof Man. We met Roof on the roof of the chicken coop, which is why his name is Rufus, Roof for short. But we met him at the very beginning of June, and then a few weeks later, maybe it was like two and a half weeks later, not long, we met CJ and Sadie under the shed at the house, which is how I went from 1 cat to 5 cats in the span of like 3 weeks. And somewhere in there was a snake that showed up in my yard. Legs. I only saw Legs once, but Legs really freaked me out. And I'm not scared of snakes. I grew up with pet snakes, but I liken it to meeting a snake in the wild is like meeting a frat guy at the frat house. Like, you know, they could be cool in like a different environment, like maybe not their environment, like not at the frat house. They could be cool somewhere else, but like in their environment, not cool. I don't like meeting snakes in their environment. Anyway, CJ and Sadie, the Mini Coopers, were very feral when we found them. And, well, hi, Miss Willow. Anyway, very feral, very spicy. And we did a lot of work to socialize them. And then we kept CJ, the boy, and the only person in this world that Sadie likes is my dad. So my parents ended up adopting Sadie. That is how we got to our current permanent number of animals. Yes. With Remy, Finn, Coop, Roof, and CJ. And then these weren't permanent additions, but last year we did foster, we as in, you know, like our community here on TikTok, we fostered 13 kittens throughout the year. First, we had the Ginger Lads, who did come with their names, and it was 4 orange boys. They were 4 months old when they came to us, and they were Dino, Sarge, Frank, and Fuzz. They were with us for 10 days. Next group was the Flower Girls, and it was also 4, and they were all girls. Bluebell, Snowdrop, Poppy, and Hyacinth. They were 6 months old when they came to us, and we had them for 3 weeks. If you didn't know, my parents ended up adopting Hyacinth, so now Sadie has a sister with Hyacinth. My parents also have Penny, who is 14 years old and like 6.5 pounds, and wants nothing to do with Sadie and Hyacinth. Next was the Weasley brothers. This was the first group that we as a community got to name, and it was three more orange boys, and they came to us at 6 weeks old. We named them Fred, Ron, and George, and we had them for about 6 weeks. So we got them at 6 weeks, and they left at about 12 weeks. And our last foster group from last year was the Swiftons. We had August and Ivy. As far as I know, they were the only pair or group that got adopted together, and they actually got adopted by a very, very nice family in the Dallas area. And I flew with those kittens to DFW, and I cried like a boo-hoo baby in the airport. But at that point, I had had them for about 3 months, so saying see you later to them was very hard. But I was so excited that they got adopted together, and their mom posts TikToks of them all the time. Then we took a little break while we moved houses. So we moved out of the original Coop Kitty house with the chicken coop in November Took a little break from fostering while we got settled in the new house, but then about 5 weeks ago we picked up these guys. They were 4 days old when I picked them up, and we named them the Rappling Babies after Renee Rapp. Our last group was named after a pop artist. Named this group after one of my favorite pop artists. And this is Baguette, and then Willow and Boston are running around on the floor with Remy. Also somewhere in there were sprinkled a few spiders. Like Porch Weber, that spider that used to build a web across my entire front porch at the old house every single night, and by morning she would literally like take her web down. Apparently that's a thing with this particular kind of spider. I don't do spiders, but Porch Weber stayed outside, and I left the porch light on for her so that bugs would fly through her web so that she could have herself a little snack. What I didn't appreciate was moving to this house and those spiders in the basement, but they are gone. I think that's everybody. I think that's everyone. Also, just look at this baby. Oh, hi.